consumers have been warned to brace for further hikes in the costs of some staple, grocery items. And this is due to major cooking oil shortages, which is a result in part of the Russia-Ukraine war. The two countries are major suppliers of wheat, corn and barley, but also ship more than 75% of global exports of oil, sunflower oil that is, which is one of the world's leading edible oils. Let's get you a sense of the implications now. Bring in our guest. Thomas Mielke is the CEO of Oil World, live to us now from the city of Hamburg in Germany. Great to see you, Thomas, and thanks very much indeed for making time. I mean, you know, the crisis that's taking place in Eastern Europe has just added to what's been already a worrying trend when it comes to shortages of oil, cooking oil that is, because of things like climate change and labor shortfalls.
Yes, this is correct. We have seen quite a lot of disasters all over the world in palm oil, in soybean oil, in rapeseed oil in Canada last year. Worldwide, vegetable oils, cooking oils have been tight already for quite a while, and the war in Ukraine has added to the tightness. Yes, no question about it.
Yeah, we're being told by some research that's being done that there's an estimation that sunflower seed and oil production, for instance, from Ukraine could drop by as much as 5 million tons, and that's just this year alone. Are you able to help us better place that figure? How big is it in the greater scheme of things?
Well, for sunflower oil, the Black Sea origins are accounting for approximately 78 to 80% of world exports for sun oil. And at the moment, in the month of March, it was scheduled to export approximately 1.2 million tons of vegetable oils out of the Black Sea, which is equivalent to about 13% of world exports of vegetable oils. So the shortfall of sunflower oil and vegetable oil exports out of the Black Sea is a major change, a major concern to consumers worldwide, and prices have significantly reacted over the past couple of weeks. Like sunflower oil prices, for example, they have virtually doubled. In Europe, you have to pay $3,000 or $3,100 for 1 ton of sunflower oil. The price was $1,500 before the invasion occurred 3 weeks ago. So It's a major change in prices.
Absolutely. And we know that these oils are also used for biofuels in some respects. I imagine what governments now have to start considering is putting a halt on that so as to ensure that this oil goes far enough for things like cooking.
This is correct. Yes. Governments should understand their responsibility, primarily in the big biofuel consuming countries, to at least temporarily reduce the admixture mandate to facilitate that a larger share of the edible oil supplies worldwide is going into the food sector. Otherwise, the necessary rationing which has to occur at the moment has to be done by the edible oil consumers alone, and this is creating a lot of pain, particularly in the developing countries where the food budget, the percentage of the budget spent for food is high. And if it is 60 or 70%, and if prices double, it's very hard, it's impossible for the average family to finance their normal food basket. So that's one of the possibilities, but it's not going to be easy. But this is, I think, on the agenda at the moment.
Right. For those who are struggling to connect the dots about how an increase, for instance, in cooking oil leads to a rise in the price of other staple food items, help us connect those dots. How does the one lead to the other?
Well, it is not only cooking oil which has increased sharply. It is also wheat. It is grains in general. It is other edible oils, and we have a general shortage and a general price rally in food items, also in finished products, and this is the concern. This is a concern. Food price inflation and consumers are suffering from this at the moment. On the other hand, there is some panic buying, and the panic buying from consumers currently aggravates the shortage probably more than it should be. Relief is on its way as we are moving into new crops coming shortly. In South Africa, for example, you are expecting a bumper sunflower seed crop now, which will soon be harvested and which will bring considerable relief to the South African market, making South Africa almost self-sufficient in sunflower oil in May, September. And then there is hope that the situation improves. Also, once a ceasefire is reached in Ukraine, prices are likely to decline sharply because there are a lot of stocks of sunflower seed, a lot of stocks of agricultural products which have not been consumed lately and which will move into the market. So prices have already started over the past 3-4 days. Prices of edible oils have already started to weaken, hoping that current negotiations will be successful to reach a ceasefire. Yeah. So we probably have seen the peaks already in cooking oil prices lately, unless the war continues for several weeks.
Yeah, we know that several talks are ongoing. Hopefully they lead us to the right direction. What this moment has done, though, is, I guess, brought into sharp focus the debate around oil for food versus oil for fuel. And there are concerns now that, with these shortages, those in the biofuel sector may very well miss their targets, and there are implications about that. What's your response to that?
Yes, I'm propagating a temporary reduction in biofuel mandates, which means reduced production of biodiesel and thus reduced consumption of edible oils for biodiesel. Now, we should be aware that also waste products are consumed. We are at the moment, we are only talking about edible oils, rapeseed oil, palm oil, soybean oil. Sunflower oil is only used to a very small extent at current prices. None is used, no sunflower oil is used for biofuel, but other edible oils, and if the other edible oils are reduced in the biodiesel sector, for example, the next 6 months or so, this will bring considerable relief, and this weakening price trend will then also spill over to sunflower oil.
Yeah.
Yes, but this decision has to be done. There are a few countries like Brazil, which have already reacted, Argentina, but it's important that European Union, the US, Indonesia acts and temporarily at least bring down consumption of edible oils for biofuels, and this would bring considerable relief.
Yeah, I guess that in part answers my question, but do you reckon that there's an appetite for that among the countries you've just listed?
There is a responsibility of the governments to react to this, because their biofuel policies have an impact on food price inflation, and this impact is not necessary. It can be eased temporarily, and this is what it should be. The biofuel production should only be done if there is excess supply and if satisfaction of food demand is not jeopardized. Probably consumers should stand up and bring up their voice to support this argument.
Yeah, well, already crucial conversations around possible trade-offs that have to be made if this war does not abate. For now, thanks very much indeed for your weighing in. Really do appreciate your time from here in Johannesburg. Thomas Mielke is the CEO of Oil World. Live to us there from the city.